I didn't record all this time actually. I forgot it's in the past state actually. Sorry for that. Okay, fine. Everyone able to hear me, right? Okay. So now we'll see some basic example how we can do that. Let me close all these things. Let's create a package called multi-threading. Right. Let me create a class called sample multi-threading. So I can achieve multi-threading in Java basically two ways. Not necessarily these are the ways that you can achieve but there may be some wrapper libraries to achieve these things. Generally by extending thread class, right? Or by implementing runnable interface. So these are the two main uh, two main process how we are going to initialize and start a multi-threaded environment in Java, either by extending the thread class or by implementing the runnable interface. We'll try to extend the thread class. So what happens if you extend this thread class? You can use the methods available in the thread class. Right? There is some method called run in the thread class actually, right? What this run method does is like this run method only will start the thread for the particular object you have created. I'll show what it is. For example, I'm just going to print something here. This is a thread example, right? What I'll do, I'll create a main function here. I'll create two objects for this particular sample multi-threading. Right? What I'll do, I'll just say s1 dot start actually, right? And s2 dot start. We'll come to this later. We'll just try to run this program now. So now it's running. I mean, now it's executing whatever is there in the run method, but it is executing twice. Now what happens is like these two things didn't run sequentially; these ran actually parallelly. That is the understanding which we have to come. To test how these things are run in parallel, maybe we'll try to do one thing. We'll introduce a for loop here. We'll try to run this now. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay. So what happens here is like this thread actually starts and runs in parallel. So that's what happening here. So you can start n number of threads like this, and you can run over here, right? So this is the basic idea. So how we are starting a thread, it depends upon the context also. For example, this particular run method is there, it is doing one simple task only, one particular task only. But for running the same task, why we have to create two different threads? That's a question. Okay, before that, the start method is available in the class called thread actually, right? Now if you see what this start method is doing, it is doing something called synchronized, right? The synchronized keyword is used in Java to synchronize between the two threads. You can also use this synchronize keyword over the methods. uh, for example, if two particular threads are trying to access the same method, if synchronized block is there, then if the second thread knows if another thread is using that particular method, then it will wait for the execution to complete, and then this thread will start. Otherwise there'll be some situation called thread lock situation which will happen in Java. So before I show that, I also wanted to show you one more thing. Even this thread class, what it is implementing, it's like sorry, even this thread class, what it is implementing is this one. Even this thread is implementing this runnable interface actually, right? I can also do the same thing by implementing the runnable interface. Let me create one more class here. Uh, so I have the second class here, right? By implementing this runnable method, runnable interface has only one method, right? Abstract method, which is run method actually. this run method only we are overriding through the thread class also, right? Right, this overrided method only. Okay, so here also you can override this run method through the runnable interface, and I can directly do this. I can create an object for this. Okay. Okay. Okay, not sure what is the problem. Just give me a second.
Probably the second class is declared as static, I think.
No, 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 no. Oh.
Oh, it should be
I don't think
static,
that's the problem. Okay, okay, that is the problem then. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, sorry for that. Okay. Okay, so now we can implement this multi-threading through this implementing runnable interface also. But what is the one thing we have to do is pass this object to a thread class and then start this. What I can do is like I can either do a thread dot run also, that will also work fine, or thread dot start also, but we generally go for a thread dot start because we have more control over the particular thread, right? Because the thread dot run method belongs to this runnable interface and we are directly implementing it here. But when we are passing to this thread class, then the thread has so many methods where you so many wrapper methods there to set the priority, to either stop or to get the status, to set the thread name we saw previously, right? So those kind of processes are also possible when you are wrapping that runnable interface to the thread class. So only Java itself provide a wrapper class for this runnable interface through thread. So generally it is always safer to extend this thread class and we create an object like we did something before, right? So it is always safer that way. And there are many scenarios where you will encounter this particular thing actually. Maybe I'll try to show one example itself. But in modern day test automation framework, what happens is like we don't have to do this explicitly. For example, uh, we have many scenarios where we wanted our browser to execute in parallel, right? In multi-threaded environment. But what we did before 4 5 years before this BDD framework and the SNG came, we have to explicitly call this run method by creating this extending this thread class and implementing runnables, whatever. We have to do all the configurations by ourselves actually, right? We have to say where the program execution will start. Generally, the test automation, any program execution will have to start from the run method only, because anyway we wanted to run this browser thing parallelly, right? And what we have to do, we have to kind of configure everything in the run method only. For example, uh, what I'm trying to say is like this run method will have code to initialize this test reports, to create a folder for output screenshots, and to initialize the browser, and to continue the execution, right? From wherever code logic is there, do something over the web page and closing the browser. So every logic should start from this run method only. So it's kind of harder to implement. Now this BDD framework came, it made our life very simple actually. Let me check whether that configuration is available for. Okay, just there's this BDD framework called Serenity actually, where you can. Okay, I think this is in XML itself, I think. Let me check. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure where this thread information is declared. Like in this XML, as you saw here, right, the Serenity framework supports this kind of configurations. Actually, you can directly, maybe this is additional plugin. I think they would have declared somewhere additionally in our project. I'm not sure where. But you can do something like this. If you give thread count here itself, we don't have to configure this thread class or runnable interface. But in the background, what is happening is here, like this thing only is happening. Background, all the things are run only through creating a thread, extending the thread class and creating an object for that, and creating a start, calling that start method, right, as we did here. But all the things, whatever we saw, is run on the background. We just have to give this configuration, number of threads is equal to 2 or 3. So what happens, it itself will create an, for example, if we give a number of object as 2, then itself will create something similar to like this, create a 2 objects for this particular class, and will yeah, I mean, we'll call it start method by itself implicitly. That is what will happen in the background. So nowadays in modern implementations, we don't have to explicitly specify the uh, thread class or run over this run method. That's a basic idea. Right? Even in testng, I think in pom.xml you can go and give the number of threads to execute. You can do here. Thread count, some properties there, right? In suite name, you can say parallel equal to classes and thread count is equal to 5. Even the testng uses the similar mechanisms, right? If you give the testng is equal, I mean, thread is equal to 5, it's going to create a 5 different instance of that extended thread class as a runnable interface, and it is going to call the start methods 5 different times for the test which you wanted to run. That's only is happening in the background. Fine, maybe I'll try to show this configuration. I'm not sure exactly where it is. It should have been declared somewhere. Maybe I'm not sure. I'll try to show this maybe in the next time. Right. I think we'll stop with this. So what we have to understand is like there are two things we can do. We can extend this thread class, or we can implement this runnable interface. And to start this multi-threading, we have to override this run method inside this implementing class, and we have whatever in this run method only is going to execute in parallel. Other things are not going to execute in parallel. Other things are going to be synchronous only. Whatever is available in this run method only, it's going to execute in parallel. And we are going to call this start method to start and run the particular thread which you wanted to. Maybe we'll do one more thing. We'll try to print those names. Okay, now it has assigned that through two names for that, right? It's thread 0 and thread 1. Okay, we'll continue this multi-threading also in the upcoming sessions. We'll stop with this. So now we'll for sure this is two separate process that is happening. So any other thing to ask people?
Karthik?
Yes, sure.
Hello. With regarding this concept, whatever you explained today with threads, right? You have any reference links or something to go through in detail?
Okay, I'll share in the WhatsApp group actually.
Yeah, if you can share any relevant documents, like any relevant links to read through, it will be good to ask some other like doubts or something tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So can we wrap up the session, everyone? Other people? Okay. So tomorrow, who will be available? Who will be not available? Actually, tomorrow's Diwali here. I'll be available for that Q&A session.
I think mostly we'll be, but in any case, we'll let you know 2 hours prior.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 o'clock, right? By 12,
Yeah,
12:30.
yeah.
Yeah, we can confirm back, right?
Okay. Fine. Then thank you everyone for joining.